This is me, Demitri Gagliano, and this is the ocean. Many people have mastered the art of traversing the vast bodies of water that cover this planet. That art is known by some as swimming. Sadly, for me, I am not one of those many people. Since I was a young lad, I have always had this irrational fear of water. Growing up a mile away from the ocean, I was reminded of this phobia regularly. Since living in North Carolina, I have felt much safer, constantly surrounded by large rocks, rather than the endless deep abyss known as the ocean. But this particular summer, we were taking a trip to visit some family up in New Jersey. And New Jersey is pretty close to a lot of water. Some people call it the Atlantic Ocean. You can imagine the horror I felt when my drunken uncle-in-law Steve announced to the family on the first night in Jersey that tomorrow, the guys are taking a rickety pontoon boat out into the Jersey shore to go catch crabs. Me, being one of the guys, found myself far too deep into the situation to back out now. The next day, my 16-year-old self was awarded the job of cooler duty and was packed into a little Honda with 3 large Guido-esque men, one of which being my father, and my little 11-year-old brother, a well-documented lover of water and all things nautical. My entire car ride to the shore was spent explaining that if they decided to do any wacky pontoon boat tricks, that they would need to dive into the water to rescue me because I couldn't do so on my own. As we head out into the Sound and begin setting up our professional grade crab traps, I start to ease myself into being on the ocean. The massive orange life jacket strapped to my torso made me feel safer than it probably should have. As hours passed by, the cooler I was in charge of was growing lighter and lighter, and the boatsmanship being exhibited by old Stevie was growing more and more hectic. As the day was coming to a close, we saw a yacht out in the distance, as Steve so elegantly put it, hauling some serious ass. As it grew closer and closer, we spotted an egregious sight posted atop it. A massive Boston Red Sox flag. Instant dismay came over me as I remembered the 3 large, now drunken, Sicilian men I was posted on this boat with are all die-hard New York Yankees fans. Slurred, profanity-ridden hollering began to emit from our modest little pontoon, and amidst this chaos, Steve had a brilliant idea. A way to assert our dominance, if you will, over the vile Red Sox fans that were careening by. We were going to jump our rental pontoon boat over the massive wave left in the wake of their 50-foot yacht. As I stood at the front of the boat, I was personally very excited for a great view of what was about to ensue. As the yacht jetted by, my uncle gave the boat full throttle. In the midst of this, I realized my handicap, being in the middle of the ocean after all. But at this point, it was too late. Before I could react to what was going on, we were a good 10 to 15 feet over the surface of the water, and all I could hear was the echo of a harmonious, drunken, "Wow!" And then, a huge crash. At that point, I found myself at the front of the boat still, water up to my knees. All I could do was look back at my uncle with a gaze that I feel said, "Why?" The boat had nestled itself at about a 30-degree angle, jammed into the ocean, and was steadily sinking. My uncle quickly obtained a look of pure fear, put the boat in reverse, and went full throttle again. By some miracle, we backed out of the monster of a wave we had slammed ourselves inside of. And that is the story of why I will not be going crabbing ever again.